When I was 12 years old, my family moved from the endless cornfields of Indiana to the majestic wonderland that is Wyoming. I will never forget the moment when I saw snow-capped mountain peaks for the first time. This was a place where the wilderness was still wild and the land remained pure and unchanged by the hand of humankind. I would like to take a few minutes and introduce you to the place that I call home. Welcome to Wyoming. There are two aspects of Wyoming that I would like to introduce to you, the first of those being recreation. When you live in a place like Wyoming, you might have different views on what the term recreation means than those who live in other parts of the country. For example, one recreational activity that Wyomingites hold in a sacred place is the ownership and use of firearms. Here, guns far outnumber residents and are not viewed as weapons. They're viewed as a time-honored tradition that must be upheld in a safe and responsible manner. To the average person from Wyoming, there is almost nothing more entertaining than having a shooting contest with your friends, or more sacred than teaching a young person how to shoot for the first time. Most Wyoming residents also enjoy hunting, camping, and four-wheeling. Hunting is a sacred tradition that puts food on the table and provides a remarkable connection to nature and the history of how America used to be before Western civilization took over. There is almost nothing more fulfilling than providing hundreds of pounds of food for your family by the means of a good hunt. To most Wyomingites, camping in one of our many majestic mountain ranges is equivalent to vacationing abroad. Some of the best memories I have were made sitting around a campfire with my family and friends. And a final recreational activity that I would like to discuss is four-wheeling. Four-wheeling is the art of taking a car or a truck to places that the military wouldn't take an army tank or a helicopter. Many of the most incredible wild attractions in Wyoming have very limited access, and sometimes the only way to get where you're going is to engage the four-wheel drive and hope for the best. But on many occasions, I've found that when four-wheeling, the journey was just as good as the destination. But most people who visit Wyoming will never engage in the activities we've just listed. They come to this great state for the breathtaking scenery and captivating wildlife. Nearly every adult in America can identify pictures of the Grand Tetons or Old Faithful Geyser in Yellowstone National Park. But did you know that there's a secret Wyoming that most tourists never experience? Wyoming is so much more than the home of America's first national park. There are so many soaring mountain peaks and whispering forests and serene canyons just off the beaten path. I once hiked 8 miles through a thick pine forest to come upon the most beautiful alpine lake I have ever seen in my life. Many Wyoming vistas look as if someone painted them and they should be hanging in the finest of art galleries. But a lot of them aren't recorded on any map. So if you ever visit Wyoming, don't be afraid to take detours and go off on dirt paths through the tantalizing purple sage. In Wyoming, you never know when nature will redefine your definition of what is beautiful just beyond the horizon. Finally, as I've stated before, Wyoming is home to an abundance of diverse wildlife. Have you ever witnessed the majesty of a bald eagle in flight or heard the chillingly beautiful sound of a pack of wolves howling off in the distance? I have. According to the Ruckelshaus Institute, an astounding 48% of Wyoming is unfenced public land, and according to the United States Census Bureau, that means that there are nearly 47,000 square miles of prime wildlife habitat, which includes a multitude of different ecosystems. From the raw power of the grizzly bear to the sheer numbers of wild pronghorn antelope, it would take an honest effort to avoid seeing many different species of wildlife on a daily basis in Wyoming. The people of Wyoming have developed a great respect for the wildlife that share our home with us, and there are many organizations such as the Wyoming Wildlife Federation that, quote, go above and beyond to preserve millions of acres of serene habitat so that these animals can live on in harmony for generations to come. However, please understand that these animals are not tame in any way, so be sure to observe Wyoming's wildlife from a safe distance. But what else would you expect from one of the last places on Earth that's still completely wild? Unfortunately, I fear that my words do no justice to the abounding beauty of Wyoming. There is nothing greater than experiencing Wyoming's vast wilderness with your own senses. From the snow-capped peaks to the newborn antelope, I consider my home to be a gift that I will never take for granted. I hope that someday all of you will venture out on your own and feel the connection to nature that the Equality State provides, even if it's only for a short time. Come and see the most photogenic mountains on Earth and feel the Earth breathe as the geysers of Yellowstone erupt into life. Come experience some of the greatest natural treasures in the world. your Wyoming adventure awaits you. Thank you very much.